Welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today we're going to be ranking one of my favourite archetypes from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. That's right, we're ranking the Elementor Hero monsters. Now, of course, this is all based on my own personal opinion, so if you agree or disagree with any of my choices here, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. All I ask is you remain respectful. And while you're down there, let me know what archetype you want me to rank next. Without further ado, let's just jump in looking at the first monster, which is an Elementor Hero card I haven't really used very often. I'm going to drop it into B rank because I really like his design, and I feel like if I had more of a chance to use it, I probably would find it quite fun and enjoyable. Next up, we've got Absolute Zero. And this monster, again, is going in B rank, still not a monster I've used an awful lot. A monster I've had to go up against in many different Yu-Gi-Oh! Games and got frustrated against, but I really like the design, and I don't know, it looks very simplistic, but its shiny form is lovely. Next up, we've got Elementor Hero Flair Neos, and I'm putting it in C. Now, though the ability might actually be useful, again, it's not something I see myself using that often. Neo Spacians and Neos kind of combinations, I wasn't too big of a fan of personally. But at the same time, it's a decent looking card, it does its purpose. Next up, we got Aqua Neos, and again, similar reasons to Flair Neos, I'm putting it in C rank, just below Flair Neos, simply because I like Air Hummingbird a lot more than Aqua Dolphin. And of course, Aqua Neos is a fusion of Neos and Aqua Dolphin, so logical. Next up is Elementor Hero Avion, and that's going in A rank for me. I just really love this card. It's so simple, so easy to use. Yeah, it's one of the core Elementor Hero cards, one of the first ones you think of when you come to think of the archetype. Next up, we've got Blade Edge, and I'm putting in A. I really like its penetration skill, where if it attacks a face-down monster or a defense mode monster, it basically just kind of deals piercing damage. Plus, it's a decent boss card when you're starting out playing the game. Next up, we've got Elementor Hero Blazeman. And again, similar, I'm actually putting in A rank. Reason being is, I love its multi-skill. You can either send a Elementor Hero monster from your deck to your graveyard and gain that monster's attack, or you can basically get a fusion card in your hand. Obviously, you've got to follow the conditions for both effects, but it's so useful and very versatile, plus the stats aren't that bad. Next up, we've got Neos Brave, and I've used this a lot on Duel Links, so I'm putting it on B. Next up, Elementor Hero Bubbleman, and I'm sorry, but it's going in D. I've never actually successfully been able to use Bubbleman's skill, and I just don't overall like the design, so D is for me. Next up, we got Bastinatrix, and, well, she's going in A rank. Bastinatrix, again, like Avion, is very easy to use. It's the core of the Elementor Hero archetype, and you know what? It's just, my opinion, a great card. Next up, we got Captain Gold, and there's also another addition to the D rank section. I really don't like using this card, and I very rarely do use it, and it just doesn't appeal to me. Next up, we've got Elementor Hero Chaos Neos. Now, the name sounds awesome, and the, the card's got such a great design, name's awesome, but at the same time, I can't remember its effect. I struggle to remember the card's name, and it, off memory, feels like a really complicated card to get onto your field in terms of needing a lot of fusion materials. Next up, we've got another addition to D rank, and it's Clay Guardian. Now then, we've got another addition to A rank with Clayman. Clayman's going into A rank simply because I just love putting it face down in defense mode and using it, especially in the Duel Links format. It's got a very good defense stat, and you can make a few decent Elementor Hero fusion monsters by using it. Next up, we got X-Core, and C for me. Then moving along, we got Cosmo Neos, and for very similar reasons, but I'm actually putting it there in B. Again, very awesome design, very cool card name, decent effect, but at the same time, I just haven't used it as much as I have the other monsters on this list. Next up, we got another Elementor Hero, and I think he's going to go into C rank. And we got Dark Neos, which, to be honest, I'm putting in B. I quite like Dark Panther, pretty cool card. Using it to fuse with Neos makes a pretty badass looking monster. Moving along now, we got Neos Divine, or Divine Neos, or God Neos, whatever pronunciation you want to use of this card. And you know what? Really do like the sound of a god-like Neos, but unfortunately, it just didn't live up to its expectations in my personal opinion. I just haven't used it too much, so I can't really comment a lot on the card. Now this card, I absolutely loved it in the anime, and I'm putting it atop of B. Next up, we've got this monster, which again, I've used a fair amount, but I just don't really like its design. I, for some reason, think the blue ruins the design in my personal opinion, but at the same time, it did its purpose. Next up, we've got our first edition into S rank, Elementor Hero Flame Wingman. Now, of course, this is one of Jaden's ace monsters in the anime. Seeing this monster in the anime was fantastic. I loved using it in both Duel Links and Legacy of the Duelist. It's just a fantastic card. Love its effect, love its design, and yeah, what more can I say? Next up is Flair Neos, and actually, it's probably my favourite Elementor Hero Neo Spacian and Neos fusion monster, simply because again, it's an easy to use card, it's cool design. I'm repeating myself, so I'm moving along. Elementor Hero Flash, I forgot this card existed. Elementor Hero Gaia, C. Glow Neos, now, unfortunately, he's going into C. No. Going into D. Apologies if you like this monster, but personally, I was never a fan of the Glowmoss monster. And by extension, I'm not really a fan of this monster. I'm sure its effect is decent and is somewhat good, but it, again, isn't a card I use that often, so I'm just going to leave it there. Next up, we got Grand Neos, and you know what? It's not as good as, say, Flair Neos, but it's decent. I really like Grand Mole. He's one of my favourite Neo Spacians is Grand Mole, and this has a similar effect, if I remember correctly, to Grand Mole, so it's just really trolly, and I kind of like doing that, because it just annoys your opponent, but at the same time, B rank. Grand Tornado, sorry, but you got a really cool design, but I had to look you up. I couldn't remember you. Next up is Elementor Hero Heat, and putting it in B. I like his effect, it's useful, I've used it a lot in Duel Links, and it's won me quite a few matches, just being decent in early Duel Links, so yeah, leaving it there. Next up we got Honest Neos, and I really love this card's design, but I've just never used it personally, and I just can't see myself using it. In the anime, I found it pretty cool, but I'm going to put it in C because I feel like that's fair. Next up we got Ice Edge and D. C rank for Elementor Hero Inferno, a monster that I have got experience using, but its effect is really, really specific. In fact, it works better against Aqua's monsters, but I'd never really go up against many Aqua's monsters when I used it, so I found it pretty useless, except for just being something with a decent attack stat that I can fuse into and just bash people with. Next up we got this little guy, and it's kind of cute, but it's going in C. Heat Lady is going into C rank. I actually quite like the skill of this monster in terms of inflicting battle damage, effect damage to your opponent based on the Elementor heroes you have on your field. I really do like that effect. Burn damage is always cheeky, it's always kind of trolly. So for that aspect, it gains some points. Design wise, it's pretty cool, and yeah, I just wish it did a lot more. Now, we've got a monster that has such a cool design, but it's going in D rank simply because I can't stand his name. Liquid Soldier. Just sounds dirty. Next up, we've got this Elementor Hero monster, and I actually can't remember the name of this monster, admittedly. I like its design, it looks cool, it looks like it's got essence of Grand Neos and another Neo Spacian combined in with it, so it looks like it's a 3-layered fusion material monster, but at the same time, I'm going to put it in C simply because I can't remember the effect, can't really remember the name, and yeah, wish I could though. Again, similarly to this monster, I had the same reasons. But unfortunately, it's a Aqua Dolphin looking type of fusion, and I'm not a big fan of Aqua Dolphin. Next up, Elementor Hero Marina, and I think the skill's decent of this monster, so I'm going to put it next to Gaia and C. Right, hear me out with Mumbleman. Mumbleman, no, I'm going to put him lower. Mumbleman looks weird as hell, but I love the fact it's such a defensive monster, but at the same time, who's going to use it, really? Next up, we have Elementor Hero Nebula. And this monster's got such an awesome design. So I'm going to put him in... I'm going to put him in B. Shaman is going in See you later. C rank. Negotiate is going into A rank. Got a lot of love for Negotiate. Used it a lot. Love its skill. And generally, it's been useful more times than it's been unuseful. So, good on him. Another Bubbleman variant goes in D. Neos goes in A. Simply because A, it's a ace monster, it was awesome in the anime, and it's so versatile. It's a core of the Elementor Heroes in terms of having so many fusion variants, and you can't realistically build an Elementor Hero deck without an Elementor Hero Neos in it. You can, but it won't be that good. So, C rank for Neos. Atlas is also going into C rank. It's such an easy to use, good high attack level monster, or high attack stat, decent level monster, that you can get out pretty quickly and utilise very easily. In A rank, we've got Neos Knight. Now, this monster has such an awesome design, but I just couldn't find any information about it. So I'm putting it at the top of C rank. Oh wait, hold on a minute. It's an Elementor Hero Neos and Nebula fusion, if I remember correctly. Am I remember that correctly? On the off chance that I am remembering that correctly, I am putting you underneath Neo Brave. Nova Master, C. I've never used it. I don't have any desire to use it. It looks alright, but yeah. Elementor Hero Aqua. Neos Elementor Hero Phoenix Enforcer. Now, B rank. There. Now this monster, when it was first used by Astro Phoenix, I absolutely freaked out in the anime. I loved it. It was such a different variation of Flame Wingman. But at the same time, I never really saw it used that much. So I'm putting it in B, simply because I have good memories of it from the anime, and I'm going to leave it there. Next up, we have Electrical Vice. Something similar to that. C. Poison Rose, C rank. Elementor Hero Plasma is a C tier Elementor Hero monster. It's used so much, it's very useful in terms of changing its name, so you can fuse pretty easily with the monsters that you need to. You can put cards into your graveyard using his effects, meaning you can use Miracle Fusion fairly easy as well. So it's all around a very useful, versatile, and helpful card. One you definitely want in an Elementor Hero deck. Next up, you have Rampart Blaster. And I'm putting you in C tier. The reason being is I really wanted to use it. I tried using it, and every time I tried using it, I failed because for some reason I found this effect pretty difficult to understand. Reading is hard, I guess. And next up, we've got Shadow Mist or something similar. It's pretty cool design. I'm putting it at the top of D. Shining Flare Wingman, C. Brilliant effect, brilliant skill. Said that twice. Brilliant design. Fairly easy to get out, and it has such an iconic moment in the anime. Can't help but love it. Now, I'm putting this one, although it's basically the Phoenix Enforcer, Shining Enforcer or something, variation. It might have a better skill, but it doesn't entice me a lot to use it. So I'm putting it in the bottom of B. Next up, we've got another Elementor Hero I don't really remember much about, so I'm putting him here. Actually, I think he got a better name than Liquid Soldier, so Solid Soldier, that's what it was. Elementor Hero Sparckman. Now, Sparckman is going into A rank. It's got a decent attack stat when you're starting out, so it's easy to put down, and you can rely on it to do a little bit of damage. Again, you can fuse into many different monsters using it, so I'm going to leave it there. Steam. Leaving you there. A Steam healer, in fact. Elementor Hero Neo Storm. Top of B. Love his design, love his anime introduction. All round, good card. Not really use it too much, so I can't really comment much further about that. And finally, another S tier monster, Elementor Hero Stratnos. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave like that. Elementor Stratnos is a monster that I've used so much. Again, it's one of those Elementor Heroes you need to have in an Elementor Hero deck. You can search through your deck using its skill. You can take out a spell or trap card from your opponent's side of the field based on the amount of other Elementor Heroes you have on your field. It's so useful, and it's a key monster to use. Next up, Elementor Hero Sunrise. Love its design. Haven't used it. Elementor Hero Tempest. B. Terra Firma. I believe it's the ace monster in the anime, but again, I've not really seen it much in the anime. No, in the manga, it's the ace monster. Not seen it in the anime, so I'm putting you in B there. Elementor Hero The Shining. Now, this monster is one I have fond memories of. Of course, it doesn't really appear much in the anime, if at all, but I've used it so much in Duel Links Legacy of the Duelist. It's got such a good skill, and it's very easy to get out. You don't need a lot of monsters. You don't need to use big plays to summon it. All round, it's brilliant, in my opinion. Next up, Thunder Giant. Aytia. Sparky, something. D tier. Elementor Hero Wild Edge. A tier. Wild Heart. Moving you a bit further up. So Wild Heart's going in A tier simply because it's a very easy to use monster. It can be quite useful early game, and it's a bit versatile. Now I'm putting Wild Wingman into B tier, because I've used it a little bit, but it's not really my go-to. And then Wood, unfortunately, you're getting put in C tier. So there you have it. That is my rankings for the Elementor Hero archetype. Now, of course, you may agree or disagree with some of these, and that's perfectly fine. You may also be thinking, where are Neo Spacians? Well, technically, they are another archetype in of themselves, so I'm actually going to be including them in a separate rankings video. And if you want me to do that sooner rather than later, then of course, let me know in the comments down below. Or if you have like another archetype, like Shadows, or Dinos, or I don't know, Blue Eyes variants, whatever you like, then let me know as well. I'll certainly take your suggestions on board. But honestly, I do hope you've enjoyed this rankings video. If you have, hit like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I'll be seeing you real soon. Have a great day, alligator, matane, goodbye.